Dear friends, this is Bishop Daniel Thomas of the Diocese of Toledo. Please join me now in praying together our diocesan prayer. Heavenly Father, with the redeeming cross of Christ Jesus, your Son, and the gifts of your Holy Spirit, renew and strengthen us, so that by our prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, we may foster holy disciples, holy families, and holy vocations, so as to become a more holy diocese of Toledo. We turn to Our Lady, Queen of the Most Holy Rosary, for her intercession and never-failing prayers. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Annunciation Radio presents Faith Alive, highlighting the many ways Catholic Charities here in the Diocese of Toledo provides love and support for those in need. And now, your host for Faith Alive, Executive Director of Catholic Charities in Toledo, Rodney Schuster.
Hello and welcome to Faith Alive, the program that shares how the love of Jesus Christ is provided through the ministries of Catholic Charities throughout the Diocese of Toledo. I'm your host, Rodney Schuster, Executive Director for Catholic Charities in the Diocese of Toledo. And as many of you know, we are just getting past Halloween season, and we are getting close to Thanksgiving and Christmas. And the beautiful thing for Catholic Charities as we enter into the holiday season is we see so many of you coming forward to help in our ministries in Mansfield, Norwalk, Sandusky, and right here in Toledo. But that also means we have greater needs, and probably the greatest needs of the season, because it's getting colder, because some of the assistance that was received in the past is no longer available. And so we're going to spend today's program talking to some of our folks who are in the front lines or on the front lines of helping people in need, especially in the way of food and shelter. And my first guest, who's going to be on with us for a couple segments, is Sue Shrewsbury, who heads up the Helping Hands of St. Louis. Sue, welcome back to Faith Alive.
Thanks for having me.
So, Sue, as you know, you've been doing this for 20 plus years and working at Helping Hands and seeing the holiday needs. For you personally, I'm going to ask you that for you personally. What's it like as you turn the corner and getting close to these last 2-3 months of the year? Is it one that you're just excited about, or one that you go, oh, good golly, we've got a lot of things coming up?
I think it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
It is very chaotic because there's a lot going on. It is our biggest donation season of the year, but it's what carries us through the rest of the year. So the donations that we get from here till Christmas is a huge, huge help to offset our costs, to help us, to help people that come for food and clothing and whatever other needs they come for.
And then from the perspective of those we serve, and I've touched in the past how appreciative the people we serve are when they're getting help, and especially the holiday seasons. But again, for you, when people that you've seen on maybe a weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, what's it like for them, for the work that we do during these holiday seasons, and when they see volunteers and they see people just coming, what does it mean to them?
I believe that they feel blessed. I know that I've had many hugs over the years from families that didn't know what they were going to do at Christmas time if it weren't for us. So very grateful for the help that they received. So that's always kind of our goal, to help people so that they're not feeling depressed at the holidays, and they're able to give to their kids and their families when the holidays are here, just like everybody else.
Any stories that stick out to you in your time here at Helping Hands and with Catholic Charities that really moved you, or that you think back of, that just really touched your heart over the years?
We had a family probably about 6 years ago, who were fire victims right before Christmas. Everything they had got burned up in the fire. They had like 7 kids. So they came and asked us for help. We were able to help them with toys for the kids, food for the family, and they were very, very gracious and appreciative of the help that they received when they were here. So,
and was that the same family that when Bishop Thomas was serving on Thanksgiving, that he was actually, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sue, where they talked to him and he actually was able to, I think, give them a blessing right there.
Yep.
Is that the same family?
That's the same family, and that was at Christmas, I believe.
Wow.
Because our Christmas dinner.
Wow.
Because it was right before Christmas, and they had lost everything.
Yeah, that's beautiful. With us this week is Sue Shrewsbury, who's the director of Helping Hands of St. Louis, one of the 13 ministries at Catholic Charities. So, Sue, we teed it up a little bit. This is the Thanksgiving, Christmas season. What are some things that are coming up in the way of, ways that we help people during this season? And most importantly, I know there's people out there listening saying, well, we want to help. We want to help. How can people help? What are some different ways? And so I'll turn it over to you.
Well, we have, we're doing Thanksgiving baskets. That's with a great collaboration with the Islamic Food Bank. So they were able to provide us with some food bags, and so we're able to offer that. We're also having our Thanksgiving dinner on the 22nd.
And that's a Tuesday, is that right?
Tuesday from probably 10 to 1, somewhere around there. Anyways, we could use a couple of volunteers to help with that. We could also, could use some help just any day from 9 to 1, Monday through Friday. We need help in our clothing center, food pantry, and other doing pickups, taking donations, different help in the office. So if there's any of that sounds good to you, give us a call. But in Christmas time, we also have our kids' party. We give out Christmas baskets, and we also do a Christmas dinner. So we're gearing up for that, asking for donations of toys and food for the baskets, and then volunteers for the party and for the dinner itself. So the party is from 4 to 6, so we would need volunteers between 3 and probably 7.
What's the date of that, Sue?
That is on the 21st, December 21st.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we go through the dates and times of the events coming up this season, so we can just kind of hit on each one of those, and then where you need the most in the way of volunteers, in the way of donations, whether it be financial or gift in kind, and then how can people sign up? Because I think we have like a volunteer or text a volunteer number. I know we can go to the website, but why don't we just go write down the order so people can, because I know there's people listening out there, they're going to have their pen and they're going to start putting the dates and times of things. So
November 21st, we'll be handing out our Thanksgiving baskets from 10 to 1. We can use help with that. We're also picking them up on Friday, whatever that one is, the 18th, I think it is.
Picking up the baskets
from the Islamic Food Bank. So we'll need help when we get back to load them into the church. So that would be probably about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I said, passing them out on that Monday, then the 21st. Then the 22nd is our Thanksgiving dinner. We'll have a couple spots open for that, but that also is our notorious biggest donation week of the year too.
That Thanksgiving week,
right before Thanksgiving, yeah.
Okay.
So we can always use help Monday,
some
Tuesday,
able-bodied
Wednesday,
volunteers that really unload trucks, load
right.
up freezers, load up the walk-in fridge,
exactly,
shelves, and all that.
Yeah. So we could use people to help with that. So then we get into the Christmas season. So December 14th, we would like, as kind of a deadline, we'd like to get all our toys and gift items that we need for our party. So that would be toys needed for ages birth up to 12 years old, and maybe even a little older if you can think of something for those. And we would like, nice toys, not the Dollar Tree stuff, but unwrapped. And then we will pass them out when the day comes for that. But we'd like to get them by the 14th so that we know what we have and if we need to go get something else.
Okay.
The 16th is when we are packing baskets. That's on a Friday from 9 to noon, so we could use some help with packing baskets.
And those are food baskets, Sue?
Food baskets,
And what's
yes.
typically in the food baskets?
A little bit of everything, and what you need to make a thing or a Christmas meal. Plus, we usually throw in some extra vegetables, some cereal, just something to help throughout the day or that week of Christmas.
Is that and the big meat items are ham and turkeys?
Ham and turkeys, yes.
Okay.
So right now we have actually run out of ham and turkeys,
Whoa.
which is we've never done. So
So if you are out there and you work for a company, you have a group, and you say, gosh, we'd like to do something to help people this year, start a turkey drive, start a ham drive,
Right.
because we can use ham and turkeys. Now, the other blessing that we have at Helping Hands is we have a walk-in cooler, which is a refrigerator, and walk-in freezer, and that food will not go to waste. We will use it after the holidays, and we try not to overload too much on turkey and ham like every day, because we care for our people and they might get sick of it. But all right, Susan, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
that's
keep
okay.
going.
I was saying another thing that we can always use is hamburger.
Oh, hamburger, ground beef.
The
Okay.
ground beef, they can always use that just for meals.
How's the
So-
ground venison going, like after the deer hunt? Is that one that you have to disguise into chili?
Yeah. we actually have some families that like it because we'll get the little 1 pound wraps in the pantry, and we have families that like it, so they take it home.
All right, good.
So, but yeah, usually we throw it in the chili and nobody notices. So then we have our baskets, which is on the 19th, or we'll be packing them on the 16th, passing them out on the 19th. So again, between 10 and 1, we need volunteers to help pass them.
Right. Hey, we're going to head to break, Sue. We'll leave right at December 19th. We'll come back to that after the break. You're listening to Faith Alive. With us is Sue Shrewsbury, who heads up Helping Hands of St. Louis. As we get into the holiday season, we sure could use your help. We'll be back in a minute.
Welcome to Catechism for Today with Father Nicholas Weibel. Lessons for daily life from the Catechism of the Catholic Church.
A Sunday school class had just been hearing about the parable of the prodigal son. Now, said the Sunday school teacher, who was not glad to know of the prodigal's return? Please, sir, replies one boy, the fatted calf. Now, what does the Catechism say about this? Paragraph 2099. It is right to offer sacrifice to God as a sign of adoration and gratitude, supplication and communion. Every action done so as to cling to God in communion of holiness and thus achieve blessings is a true sacrifice. Paragraph 2100. Outward sacrifice, to be genuine, must be the expression of spiritual sacrifice. The sacrifice acceptable to God is a broken spirit. The prophets of the Old Covenant often denounced sacrifices that were not from the heart or not coupled with love of neighbor. Jesus recalls the words of the prophet Hosea, I desire mercy and not sacrifice. The only perfect sacrifice is the one that Christ offered on the cross as a total offering to the Father's love and for our salvation. By uniting ourselves with His sacrifice, we can make our living a sacrifice to God. If today you hear His voice, harden not your hearts.
Now, back to Faith Alive with Rodney Schuster, Executive Director of Catholic Charities here in the Diocese of Toledo.
Welcome back to Faith Alive. I'm Rodney Schuster, Executive Director for Catholic Charities in the Diocese of Toledo. And today on our program, we are talking about some of the ministries that we will need some help and also kind of share the work that we do to help others through food, through shelter, through clothing. Our guest on this segment is Sue Shrewsbury, who heads up Helping Hands of St. Louis and has been involved with them for over 20 years, and just her and her team do an awesome job. And we were talking before break, kind of going through the number of events that she has coming up. And, Sue, I thought it was so cute. So once a month we have an agency update meeting where we get everybody on a Zoom and everybody shares some of the things coming up. And Sue, I thought it was kind of cute because you said, yeah, we're just juggling vacations right now. And this is in October, so the end of October. But we're juggling vacations right now because, when the busy season comes, we really can't take vacation because there's so much going on. And so I think it's just a testimony to you and your team and how much work you do these holiday seasons.
Right. There's a lot going on. I mean, it's all hands on deck. So we need everybody to be there, because if one person's off, that makes it just that much harder for everybody else. So that's also why we need volunteers.
Amen. And so you were talking about December 19th, I think, right before break.
So, December 19th is our Christmas baskets when we hand those out.
Okay.
We need some able-bodied people to help carry them out to the cars because they're pretty heavy. So and that's from 9 to about 1 o'clock that we pass those out. And then our Christmas our Christmas dinner is on the 20th, which is the next day. And that's from 10 till about 12:30. Mm-hmm. And that's when we have our Christmas dinner with all the fixins. And we like to have people in the dining room to help serve drinks, desserts, things like that. So also, if you have a group that wants to come in, maybe a musical group that wants to come and perform Christmas carols or something for our people, they would love the entertainment. So,
well, and I wonder, Sue, I remember some years ago where you and your band were rolling around, rocking up there with Christmas. Is that any reunions coming up?
Oh, I don't know. We've lost a couple people, so but I'm not opposed to it. I'm sure one of them that would love to come back. So maybe I'll give them a call.
There we go.
So also after that is the next day is our party. So
Christmas 3 days in a row, the 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Yeah, I don't know
who was on the planning committee? Holy mackerel!
It's really hard to put the party the week earlier, because it's just we don't get the toys in time.
Yeah.
So we'd like to wait till that week before Christmas. It gives us time to get all the toys in and be able to distribute them to people that come that are in need. So with that said, we'd like our toys by the 14th.
Okay.
So and gift items, because we also have a Santa's workshop that we put down there, and the kids can go through and pick something out for mom and dad and get them wrapped up, put them under the tree as a surprise. So. And the kids, I think they enjoy that more than they enjoy getting their own presents. But
yeah.
So, and then they get to see Santa. They get a picture with Santa. They usually do a craft. And we're still kind of doing the COVID thing because we just don't want everybody packed into a tight dining room. So we're doing them by, a little bit at a time. They walk through, they get their things, and then they'll get a bag lunch to go, or a warm lunch to go. And still get their picture with Santa, get their toys, and just be on their way. So just trying to be cautious.
So anyone, if you want to help, and if you've got a group that you want to get involved this holiday season to help others, Helping Hands is one of our ministries where that's definitely an opportunity. We have also at La Posada, our family shelter, we have a Project Bethlehem initiative where, and we've had families in the past come and prepare actually and serve Christmas meals for our guests there. So that's something you want to do. We're going to have Susan Dyson on in a bit to talk about the Hope Food Pantry in Mansfield, and of course Willie Meyer, La Posada as well. So again, I think it's a great opportunity during the holiday season just to get your family involved, and so not only are you helping others, but you're helping a ministry of Catholic Charities and all of the 13 ministries that we have to make a difference. And so I guess you're all wondering, okay, so if you want to volunteer, Sue, what are different ways that people can reach out and get signed up?
They can call the office, They can
And the number of the office is?
419-691-0613. If you press 0, it'll reach the next available staff person.
Awesome.
Or you can do my extension, which is 101.
Please. If you can't do the other extensions, God bless Sue. She's getting 1,000 calls from 1,000 different people, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But if we can go to others, and we really appreciate
I'm
that.
not always at my desk either, so
No,
you might
you're
not get an
not.
immediate answer. So otherwise, you can call our text to volunteer, which is 419-318-7086. Again, that's 419-318-7086. You just text your name and your contact info, and they'll get back to you and let you know what's available and go from there. So,
what are some of the items that you need donated, Sue?
So I already talked about the toys and the gift items.
Yeah.
Hats and gloves for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
And for men in particular. We seem to run out of those quickly. Warm blankets, turkeys, hams, canned yams, instant potatoes. If you're a baker, we'd like to put some cookies into our basket. So make up a dozen cookies and put them in a container.
Nice.
We need 100 of those. So
Only 100? Is that 100 just per basket? So we need like 500? I mean,
that's 100 dozen.
100 dozen. Okay, that's just so we're clear. 100 dozen.
Yes, 100 dozen. So we can put one in every basket.
And if you want to make a little extra for Sue and all her elves at Helping Hands, that is always a very nice thing that everybody appreciates. You're listening to Sue Shrewsbury, who heads up Helping Hands of St. Louis. We're talking about the holiday season coming up. And so you said, how many dozen cookies?
100 dozen just for our food baskets.
Just for our food baskets.
We'd also like them to serve for lunch. That's an everyday occurrence, so they love cookies as well, pies and other things, cakes, whatever kind of things you want to cook up. We'd love to have those donations as well.
And then what about financially? Is there a way that people can support us financially?
Absolutely. They can go on the website, which is
CatholicCharitiesNWO.org.
And there is a space on there that you can donate. You can stipulate what ministry you want it to go to. And we always use donations. There's always bills to pay, and those never go away.
Yeah, and then, we talk about the cold season, and of course utility bills go up, and being that Helping Hands at the old school and the old church have been around since the late 1800s, things sometimes break down as we noticed last year. And I think, that's a message, too, that we can't overlook is how generous people are. I mean, last year when we once again opened up our dining hall and needed a new oven, the support that came out was just amazing.
Yes, it was.
Sue, being on the receiving end of that, what's it like for you individually just to witness so many people in so many ways helping?
I was amazed. I'm always amazed. I always get to the point where I get a little worried, and then it just comes in, and then I always think, why do I worry? Why do I worry? Because God watches us, and He knows exactly what we need. Some days we can talk about something we need. The next day, it comes in. It just is I'm very humbled, very humbled, and very gracious for all the help that we. All the wonderful supporters that come down to Helping Hands.
And I love how you've kind of passed that down to your team in being at meetings. They always say, well, we've seen it. And I think Dee, who's been there for quite a while, is just like, we just pray for it, and then it comes. And then it comes. It's like, how did that happen? Well, God's taking care of it. He works His miracles and makes things happen. You're listening to Faith Alive. Our guest on this segment is Sue Shrewsbury from Helping Hands of St. Louis, who's gearing up. And if you heard her laundry list of activities and events that they have coming up, it's pretty lengthy and it's pretty sizable. And so we can use your help. Again, we can use your help in volunteering. We can use your help in donations of some of the items she mentioned, hams, turkeys, yams, and of course the Christmas cookies, that in itself, and again, make extra for those Sue and her elves as they work hard. But yeah, there's so many ways to help. And Sue, once again, that phone number, the text to volunteer, that if people want to help, how can they sign up?
It is 419-318 7086.
7086. And Byron Wynn, who heads up our volunteers, he will get back to you and then try to fit you in a spot where we need help.
Right, and that text to volunteer is for anywhere in Catholic Charities, not just at Helping Hands.
Right.
So.
And you can specify what you want to do, where you want to do it, and so we just encourage you to do that. Again, be patient a little bit too, because for Byron too, this is a blessing. But there are a lot of people that are coming forward and wanting to help, and so trying to get through. And I think, that's something we should talk about too, Sue. It's like, during the holiday season, we are so thankful and so blessed by so many people. But it seems like sometimes once the holiday's over, we don't have that level of interest and support. And how important is that for you? Because you continue to serve meals, you continue to provide clothing, you continue to provide food through the pantry. How important is it to have that ongoing volunteer support?
Yeah, if you are able to come on a regular basis, that is wonderful, because then we don't have to retrain people every time they come in. So if you're available once a week or maybe once a month, you want to come in, give us a call. We'll find something that will work out for you. We have a clothing center. You can sort, hang clothes, pantry. You can help sort. You can help stock. If you like to clean, we have some cleaning positions that are needed. So and of course drivers and pickup, things like that. So it's all very helpful. And also, if you can't come down, there's also things you can do back at where you're at. You can, make up some hygiene kits for us, or make up some snack packs. I think those lists are both on the webpage. You can also host a food drive, or maybe a penny wars, or just a way to get some donations. And so anything like that, give me a call if you need some ideas.
Yeah. And what has been the most creative idea that people that in your time there that you've seen people come forward that was really helpful too?
Oh Lord. Well, I will tell you one of the biggest ones is St. John the 23rd, when the kids all do their Thanksgiving food drive there, and then they bring the kids over to help sort it. We have to close the clothing center down, because they come in with, last year they hit 6,000 pounds.
Oh.
So that's a lot of food to process. So the kids all come in and they're all trying to sort everything out, so at least we get some kind of sorting done, and then we further sort it later on. But it's just great to watch the kids get involved and watch their hands flying all over the place, and just trying to be helpful in general. So and it gives them a good thing to see of the good work that they do.
Yeah, and I think that's just the message that families that come down, they're your families can be exposed to helping others, and how beautiful it is to do that. If you're part of a sports group or whatever, we're always in need of people that can lift things, because there's a lot of deliveries, there's a lot of unloading. Like you mentioned, the clothing center, there's a lot of clothing donations that need to be sorted, and make sure that things that aren't able to be worn are put away separately, and we get people to we have a group that takes that away. So anyway, Helping Hands of St. Louis, if you want to get involved, please do so. You can go to, you can text the number. It's text to volunteer, 419-318-7086. And Sue, what phone number to call at Helping Hands?
419-691-0613. Press 0 to reach the next staff person.
Awesome. Susan, thank you so much for all you do for us. And we'll be right back after this break.
Greetings in Christ Jesus, everyone. This is Bishop Daniel Thomas. As we continue our Living Christ Diocesan Capital campaign, I know that many of you have already stepped forward with a generous investment in the future of our local church. Thank you for your generosity. Many more will be asked for your participation in the coming months as we move toward our overall goal of $65 million. Folks, already our pilot wave of parishes and our first wave of parishes have now, with only 33 parishes, reached 45% of our overall goal. Now we enter Wave 2 with 45 parishes, and next spring, Wave 3 with the same number of parishes. This diocesan-wide initiative provides opportunities to support important endowment, programmatic, and capital needs to preach the gospel and witness to Christ Jesus throughout our 122 parishes and pastoral ministries. These areas, folks, include strengthening our parishes, because the parish gets 35% of every dollar, supporting our clergy, increasing Catholic Charities services, building upon and maintaining the excellence of our Catholic schools, restoring our Mother Church, and forming lay leaders with education and training for service to the faithful. Friends, this Living Christ campaign is seeing tremendous support, and I thank you if you've already made a pledge or a gift, and I invite you, if you've not yet done so, to do so when your parish goes into the wave for our diocesan capital campaign, so that all of us may be caught up in living Christ throughout the Diocese of Toledo, because together we will maintain the vitality of our local church for this generation and beyond. God bless you, and thank you.
Now, back to Faith Alive with Rodney Schuster, Executive Director of Catholic Charities here in the Diocese of Toledo.
Welcome back to Faith Alive. I'm Rodney Schuster, Executive Director for Catholic Charities, the Diocese of Toledo. This program is one that shares how the love of Jesus Christ is provided through the ministries of Catholic Charities throughout the Diocese of Toledo. I'm your host, again, Rodney Schuster, Executive Director, and we're talking this hour about ways for people to engage and help this holiday season. And our guest this segment is Susan Dyson, who heads up the Hope Food Pantry in Mansfield. Susan, welcome to Faith Alive.
Good morning, Rodney. Thank you.
Good morning. So, like our other ministries, we have a lot going on, and I know you're no different. So, as we approach Thanksgiving, as we approach Christmas, what are some, and first of all, maybe give a little background on what the Hope Food Pantry does to help people, and then get into some of the things you have coming up and how people can help.
All right. Well, Hope Food Pantry is a choice food pantry, and that means that our visitors, instead of getting a bag or a box of food, which we did do during the pandemic, but we are back into the building again, and they actually get a cart, and they get to go around our little, like a little grocery store, and they get to actually pick items off the shelf, what their family would eat, what they would cook with, and according to their family size. So it gives them just a little bit more choice, and we know that the food is going to get used as opposed to just giving them bags of food that we've picked out for them. So it's a choice food pantry.
Right.
So going into the holidays, we do see more people come in. You know, everybody's trying to do big meals, trying to do Christmas gifts, and the thing that does get hit is their food income. You know, people are always trying to do so many things around the holidays, and so around the holidays we don't do the turkeys, but we do try to have all the items here that they can have with their meal. So we try to supply their stuffing, their sweet potatoes, you know, green beans, and the good old green bean casserole, the green beans and cream of mushroom soup, and you know, and like I said before, anything off the shelf that they would rather do for their holiday meal. But we just try to help their meal along.
Joining us this week is Susan Dyson, who heads up the Hope Food Pantry in Mansfield. Susan, I wonder if you can share a little bit about, you know, you've been there for a number of years, how those we help, how the people and their, if they're coming with children or other loved ones, what's their response to, you know, going through the food pantry? And I know you have volunteers kind of help them as they go through and shop and get items, but what's been their reactions? And, you know, maybe if there was any special memories that you have, you know, because of the holidays, how people have responded.
I'm going to go back to the choice thing, Rodney. I just feel like it's I'm trying to think how to put this, just a little bit more dignified that people get to come in and pick the things they want, and people are very appreciative about that. We have people that come in for specific items or they're looking, and we try to accommodate. Not everything we have is out on shelves. We have stock in the back, and people know that they can come in and say, "Hey, can you look to see if you have any of this or that?" And they know they can do that. And everybody here, this is my thing, and you know this. I want everybody that comes into this pantry to be treated like my brother or my parent, so everybody that comes in here is treated so respectfully and just like a friend. And we have so many folks that come in that we just catch up from the last time they were here, and it's just a very friendly, respectful atmosphere here.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's being Christ-like to those in need. How's that, to summarize it?
Yes.
So realizing the holidays are coming up, what are items that you are typically or you'll be in need of if people want to help in the way of either volunteering or food or any other items that every year you know are going to be in great demand?
Well, and like I said, we don't do turkeys too much because we are limited on our appliances of what we can store. But for Christmas, we do get ham slices, and we try to hand out ham slices to all of our visitors. And we do have people, and these are welcome. We have people that come in and bring us half hams, and we can handle a few of those, just not a large amount. But that is wonderful when we get large families that come in here. A half a ham goes a long way when you're feeding maybe 8 mouths as opposed to a household of 1 or 2. So it is nice to have those at our disposal. And like I said, anything, this is what I tell people, anything that you normally have at your traditional Christmas meal or Thanksgiving meal, we would love to see that kind of stuff, because that is what we just try to do, the sides of everything, and try to make that meal a full meal. So hams are nice, and turkeys, a couple turkeys are nice. We just can't do them. We can't do 50.
What about, yeah, and what about in the way of volunteers?
We are still working a little bit in a COVID situation, as in we're just trying to be very careful. We are trying to limit the number of people in our building yet. In the past, pre-pandemic, we let everybody come in from outside, and they might be standing in the waiting room just packed. So we are regulating how people come in with a number system similar to that you would find at a deli or something like that. And so that also, of course, goes with the volunteers, because we are running 2 to 3 volunteers per shift, which I call a shift. They're 3.5-hour shifts, 2 a day.
What time are those shifts?
Those shifts
and what days?
Are 8. Okay, I'll give you the whole rundown. Those shifts are typically 8:30 to 12 and 12 to 3:30. Our hours are Monday 8:30 to 3:30, Tuesday 8:30 to 3:30. Wednesday we're closed. Thursday we do run a late day because we're trying to catch folks that work that still need to help out their food supply. So try to make that money stretch a little bit farther. So on Thursday, we do 12:30 to 5:30 just to catch some folks after work. And then on Friday, we're back to 8:30 to 3:30. So we do have typically 4 to 6 volunteers a day, and those volunteers do come in, and each visitor that comes in is paired up with a volunteer, and that volunteer walks around with them and tells them, how many items off of each shelf they can take, and provide a lot of conversation. So our volunteers are all very friendly. So that's a big part of it for us in here. So volunteers, and we need, sometimes we need guys to unload our trucks. Our trucks can be anywhere from 2,000 pounds to 5,000 pounds. So truck drivers or truck unloaders are needed. So, or at least to have some standby guys that are willing to lift, put in
some able-bodied folks that can come and help unload these trucks that come in. And is there a day of the week typically they come in, Susan?
Tuesday.
Or is it
they come in on Tuesday morning. We get a truck on Tuesday morning, and that is a truck that we know what's going to be on it, so we know if it's going to be a big truck or a small truck. And then on Thursday, we get a truck that is a donation truck from Walmart and Sam's Club, the local Walmarts and the Sam's Club. That one we don't ever know. It's just a matter of what they have at the end of the day before that they're donating. So it can be anywhere from 800 pounds to 2,000 pounds. We just don't ever know.
You're listening to Faith Alive, our guest.
We do get trucks.
You're listening to Faith Alive. Our guest this segment is Susan Dyson, who heads up the Hope Food Pantry in Mansfield. Susan, if people want to learn more or if they want to volunteer, especially the able-bodied lifters, want to give donations, what's the best way to learn more and to perhaps even get signed up?
Oh, goodness, Rodney. Let's see. Let's start with whenever our pantry is open in those hours, anytime somebody wants to stop in and just see what's going on in here and how we work, we welcome folks to come in and see.
Address?
523 Park Avenue East, Mansfield, Ohio, 44905. And that we welcome visitors all the time. We would love to show people how it works in here. Another big way, donations, we're always looking for donations of non-perishables and personal hygiene items. I can get non-perishable foods from the Greater Cleveland Food Bank at a greatly discounted rate than what you might find in a grocery store, or even free. All the produce from the Greater Cleveland Food Bank is free, but there is a delivery charge to get it to our building. So while that food might be greatly discounted or free, there is still a cost to get it here. So, if someone isn't able to run out to a store to get a donation, checks and cash are always nice. Help us cover those costs, to get the food that we do get down to this building.
So if you want to donate online, you can go to CatholicCharitiesNWO.org and donate through that way. If people want to call and find out more or email to find out more, Susan, what's the best way to people get in touch with you?
Well, our main desk down here is 419-524-0733, extension 230.
One more time.
That is our front desk, 419-524-0733, extension 230. And that'll get you our front desk in the pantry. And my email address is sdyson, SDYSON, at ToledoDiocese.org. And any kind of questions, you can definitely shoot me an email, and I will get back with you.
You're listening to Faith Alive, and our guest for this segment is Susan Dyson at Hope Food Pantry. Susan, thank you so much for joining us and letting people know, especially in Richland and Crawford counties, how they can help out this holiday season. with volunteering or with giving some gift in kind items or donating. You're listening to Faith Alive. We're heading to break, and we'll be back in a little bit.
All right, good talking to you, Rodney.
The Annunciation Radio mobile app gives you instant access to live and on-demand programs so you can listen anytime. You can also record and send us a testimonial, prayer request, or even a hump day humor joke. Get the free Annunciation Radio app today.
Jesus Christ is literally and wholly present, body and blood, soul and divinity, under the appearances of bread and wine. In the Bread of Life discourse documented in John chapter 6, Jesus states that he is the bread of life, and that his flesh is true food and his blood true drink. The Jews were scandalized in verse 52. How can this man give us his flesh to eat? Jesus does not back down, but reiterates this teaching 4 more times over the next 4 verses. Many left in verse 66 because this teaching was truly difficult. But at no point does Jesus water down his teaching and call them back. No, he allows them to leave, and even questions his 12 apostles if they too wish to leave. Jesus intended to be understood literally, and the Jews, apostles, and the Catholic Church absolutely take him at his word. Examining the truths of the Catholic faith, this is faithforensics.org.
Now, back to Faith Alive with Rodney Schuster, Executive Director of Catholic Charities here in the Diocese of Toledo.
Welcome back to Faith Alive. I'm Rodney Schuster, your host, and we've been talking this hour so far to folks at Helping Hands of St. Louis, Hope Food Pantry in Mansfield, and now we're going to be talking to Willie Meyer, who heads up the facilities at La Posada. Willie, welcome to Faith Alive.
Good morning. Well, glad
Good
to be
morning. It's always good to hear your voice, and kind of the theme of this program is letting people know how they can help. You know, what are some of the things that's coming up at La Posada for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and ways that if people want to volunteer their time, they want to do some type of gift drive, or of course financial support. There's many ways that we can involve people. And so, Willie, what are some things that you have coming up at La Posada that people could help out with?
Well, right off the bat, we have our Hunger Homeless Awareness Week, which is all next week. And on Saturday, we will be doing a huge collection drive along with 3 of other shelters at the Westfield Mall in Franklin Park, on the Swaina side of Franklin Park, from 9 to 2. And volunteers are welcome to sign up by giving me a call here at 419-244-5931. The volunteers that we'll be using from La Posada will be taking the donations, packing them up in boxes, and putting them on skids for delivery to the 4 shelters on Monday. The packing we'll probably finish up about 3 o'clock. Then we come into Thanksgiving. We're always...
And just real quick, Willie, that is November 12th.
November 12th.
Franklin
Saturday,
Park
November
Mall.
12th.
Yep. And and the times that people can help?
From 9 to 2.
Okay.
And the volunteers that'll be serving for La Posada will be packing the donations in boxes and putting them on skids for delivery on Monday.
So we want a lot of able-bodied volunteers that can do some lifting.
Able-bodied volunteers, yep. Yes, that's going to be really important because boxes will average between 25 and 40 pounds.
That's awesome. And there will be, for the volunteers, I know, at least from past experience, there's, we make sure that people stay hydrated either with caffeine or with water. And yes. I think there's a couple other sweet items that might be available as well. Is that right, Willie?
Yes, we do. We've got tons of coffee, and there'll be a couple of orange thermoses of hot chocolate. And then Wixie's has donated donuts for today, and they've also been the ones that are donating the coffee for the day. So Wixie's Bakery is certainly a great supporter of our homeless population and the work that we do here at La Posada specifically.
Awesome. So that's just one item. What are some other
just
things
one
you have
item.
coming up?
We got the Thanksgiving dinner that we have on Thanksgiving. So anybody who would like to assist in preparing a side dish for that, we generally have about 12 people here on Thanksgiving. 2 to 3 families typically have no place to spend Thanksgiving. So we do a huge turkey. So if the family would like to donate a turkey, the family wants to donate a couple of side dishes to add to it, or a couple of pies, that would be perfect for our Thanksgiving dinner on the 24th.
Okay.
And then coming in, we're right now in the preparations for Project Bethlehem, and that is starting here this next week, where families or companies or corporations or organizations or individuals are matched up with families that we've served over the last year with regards to Christmas ideas and Christmas suggestions. And then the sponsor receives a list from their particular family, and then they purchase from that list items that they'd like to donate to the family. The items are brought to us the week of December 15, 16, and 17, and then we wrap them here, so we'll be needing volunteers to help wrap the donations that are brought in and get them suitable for display underneath our Christmas tree. And then the families that don't live here anymore and have their own apartments, their own homes, will be picking up their donation Christmas gifts on the 22nd and 23rd of December. So there's a couple more opportunities to do volunteer work or to donate through Project Bethlehem. And again, if they just give me a call here at La Posada, 419-244-5931, and we'll be more than happy to get them set up for some times and some days to either help with the Homeless Awareness Project or the Thanksgiving dinner or Project Bethlehem, which pretty much runs from now until the middle of December.
You're listening to Faith Alive. Our guest on this segment is Willie Meyer, who heads up the facilities at La Posada, and has been a common theme of our program today. Is there a lot of great holiday events that we do for the guests and the people that we serve at Catholic Charities through our different ministries, and there's a lot of ways to help. And so I think if you're sitting and thinking, well, gosh, I'd like to get my family involved, I'd like to get my company involved, I'd like to get involved, there's opportunities to do so. In addition to the number Willie gave, you can also email him at WMEYER, so that stands for Willie Meyer, at ToledoDiocese.org. There's also a text to volunteer number that we've been sharing throughout the show, 419-318-7086. That's 419-318-7086, and within that text you can be specific as to where you want to volunteer and when you're available, etc. And again, there's many ways to help out. If you aren't able to, we can always use your financial support. Every year we have to go out and raise valuable funds to help support all of our ministries at Catholic Charities. And, the Annual Catholic Appeal supports some of our budget, but because our needs are so great, it is not able to support all of our work. And matter of fact, the ACA supports about 15% of our budget, which is a blessing. But that other 85% we have to go out every year and try to secure to make sure we're providing all the support that we can for the ministries at Catholic Charities. Willie, what's it like for you to be, serving at Catholic Charities, but then seeing these groups come in, volunteers come in to help? What's it like from your perspective, the experience for them, and then the experience for you?
Well, I think it's a great experience because it's the continuation of the love of Jesus Christ through people, for people, and people who are specifically hurting and in need. So when you see that kind of dynamic carried all the way through, from the gospel all the way through the people that are serving to the people that are being served, it's a tremendous blessing.
And what does it mean to the people we actually serve? I mean, what are some of the reactions you've seen from the folks that are either at La Posada currently or were with us in the past?
Well, I think the most recent example was at our 30th gala. Two benefactors purchased tables for past house guests and current house guests to be able to attend the gala. And they were ecstatic. They were so grateful to be able to attend and to be a part of the evening, and the messages that they heard and how we look for and garner the financial support from our community at large. They were extremely grateful to have had the opportunity to have heard the message from a different perspective, to have heard what we do to be able to do the work that we've been called to do, and helping them to connect the dots. Not too many of our clients and house guests are able to see that connection, but this time, we had almost 12, 13, I think close to about 14 people who we've served over the past couple of years who were able to attend, and some of those are current house guests today. And you see it in them, like we were decorating the shelter for our Halloween party, and they were right out there helping to set up corn stalks and pumpkins and putting up decorations, and they're already looking forward to what we're going to be doing from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock this afternoon. They've made a connection, and that's
awesome.
great.
That's awesome. You're listening to Willie Meyer, heads up our facilities at La Posada. Now, Willie, a quick question. I know growing up, I always liked to go to the houses that had the bigger candy bars and the good chocolatey gifts. Are we going to have some good stuff for our guests today?
We do, but most of our kids are a little smaller in stature, so we stick to those bite size, and we'll be playing tic-tac-toe with the bite size candies. And if you win the game, then you get one of those. I get an additional piece of candy. And if you lose, then you move on to the next board.
Awesome.
And then they'll be also doing a lot of other stuff.
One more time, the phone number to call if people want to help.
419-244-5931 or W. Meyer, M-E-Y-E-R, at ToledoDiocese.org.
Awesome. Willie, thanks so much for all you do. Thank you all for your listeners for being with us today. Help out if you can. Till next week, God bless.
Faith Alive with Rodney Schuster. For more information about Catholic Charities programs and services, visit CatholicCharitiesNWO.org. You can listen to this and other episodes anytime on demand on the Annunciation Radio mobile app and at AnnunciationRadio.com.